Good evening, one and all. I'd like to welcome you to the 112th annual installation of officers for Burbank Lodge number 406, free and accepted Masons of the state of California. Wow, what a year, eh? I must say we really started off with a bang, and I'd really hope that you'd all remember with us all standing in the lodge room, so shoulder to shoulder, singing "What a Wonderful World." And it really seems like it was just yesterday, and at the same time, it seems like it was a whole lifetime ago. In the 2 months that we were open, January 11 to March 12 of 2020, we conducted monthly ritual practices, our ritual readings to better understand the meaning of our work. We performed all 3 degrees for 3 of our lodge brethren and witnessed 2 of our brethren pass their proficiencies, and still had time for 2 Masonic education talks. And everything wasn't all business, as in January, we visited Chinatown to celebrate the Chinese New Year. And then in February, we visited the San Silmar Treasure House of Beauty and feasted after both of those visits. Not to mention a church visitation, a few OSIs and visitations to both the L.C. Kelly D. Malay chapter and the Bethel 97 of Job's Daughters. And I don't know, as we all know, things certainly changed on March 12, the day that the coronavirus closed Masonry. I really don't want to mention the things that were planned that we could not bring to fruition. And I can't imagine how that must have felt for the Most Worshipful Troner. Since that date, Masonic education for our lodge has become somewhat of a mainstay. Facebook readings of Most Worshipful John Cooper's book, plus some Zoom meetings just to shoot the breeze and check in with each other. An unfortunate event was the passing of Worshipful Lee Broussard with his resultant unscheduled Masonic funeral. When virtual stated meetings were implemented, I gotta say it was truly a blessing. The Hall Association had the roof replaced over the lodge room, and the trees that were threatening the foundation were removed. And this was all done while tenant rents were reduced and even waived for our youth orders. Like we all know, it was not the year that was planned, and it was the year that it was. I'm proud of what we did given the times, and I'm equally proud of the men who make up our line. This organization has a beautiful history and a wonderful personal development opportunity. And this lodge, meaning the men at Burbank Lodge, are happy to partake of it. And because of this, I'm so proud to be a Mason of Burbank Lodge. Thank you to everyone that assisted in the past year. Your assistance will never be forgotten. It will always, always be forever appreciated. And oh yeah, we still have a Mason of the Year award to be presented to Brother Leon Adkins for just before our next stated meeting. So again, thank you all. I love our lodge. It'll be a home for me forever. This concludes my remarks, so let's get that top hat on the worshipful elect. At this time, we'll proceed with the virtual installation by introducing the installing team. The installing chaplain is Worshipful Chris Barnes. Worshipful Barnes is a past master of Burbank Lodge number 406 for the year 1998. In 2005, he also became a recipient of the Hiram Award, again from Burbank Lodge, and is also a member of the Ville de France Lodge number 329. The Master of Ceremonies is Worshipful Jhairo Echevarriaria. Worshipful Echevarria is a past master of Burbank Lodge for the year 2018 and a member of the Downtown Masonic Lodge number 859. He's recently been appointed to serve on the Grand Lodge Youth Orders Committee. The installing officer is Most Worshipful Arthur H. Weiss, Grand Master of Masons in California, who will be formally presented later in the program. Most Worshipful, would you do us the honor of presiding over our installation of officers?
Thank you, Worshipful. It would be my honor. Let me just move into position here. Brother Master of Ceremonies, are the officers of this lodge lately chosen, present, and ready to be installed in their respective offices?
They are within the virtual lodge, Most Worshipful Sir, and await your pleasure.
Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will read the names and offices of the brethren present to be installed.
Junior Steward, Cameron Wardlaw. Senior Steward, Kevin Fitzgerald. Marshal, Armen Hovanessian. Junior Deacon, Sheldon Mazo. Senior Deacon, Rick Cervantes. Chaplain, Jim Laage. Secretary, Jhairo Echevarria. Treasurer, Peter Babaian. Junior Warden Benjamin Lupu, Senior Warden Nishan Matossian, Master Armen Khalafyan.
In accordance with the teachings of our institution, it is our duty, before entering upon any great or important undertaking, to invoke the aid and blessing of God. Let us, therefore, reverently unite with our chaplain in an address to the throne of grace.
Great architect and ruler of the universe, we reverently invoke thy blessing at this time. Grant us thine aid in our present undertaking, that all we may do shall be done with an eye single to thy service and to the good of Freemasonry. May those who are about to be invested with the government and conduct of this lodge be endued with wisdom to instruct their brethren in their duties, and may they be continually guided by the unerring counsel which thou hast given in the great book of nature and revelations. May brotherly love, relief, and truth always prevail among the members of this lodge. May they be impressed with a comprehension of their duty to thee and to each other, that this lodge may be the means of lasting good in this community, and to thee we shall ascribe all the honor and glory. Amen.
So mote it be.
So mote it be.
The flag of our country will now be presented by L.C. Kelly Chapter Order of DeMolay.
Thank you. Will everyone please join me in saluting and pledging allegiance to the flag of our country? I pledge allegiance to the United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most worshipful sir, the officers of this lodge lately chosen are present and ready to be installed in their respective offices.
The Master of Ceremonies, you will present the senior and junior stewards.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation brothers Wardlaw and Fritzgerald, who have been appointed senior and junior stewards of this lodge.
Brothers Fitzgerald and Wardlaw, you have been appointed stewards of this lodge, and I will now instruct you in your duties. In olden times, your province was to superintend and provide for the festivals of the craft, to assist in the collection of dues and subscriptions, to keep an account of the expenses for refreshments, and to see that the tables were properly supplied and every brother suitably provided for. In modern times, however, the provisions for actual refreshment has diminished, and your principal functions will now be to prepare candidates for admission and to perform those duties which Masonic custom has assigned to you on days of procession. Receive the jewels of your office together with the white rods. You will now repair to your respective places. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the Marshal.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you who has been appointed Marshal of this lodge.
Brother Hovanessian, you have been appointed Marshal of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel and symbol of your office. The baton is an emblem of command and is sufficiently significant of your duties. You will, under the direction of the Master, take charge of all processions of the lodge, and you are enjoined that the proper performance of many of our ceremonies will depend upon the manner in which your duties are discharged. You will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the senior and junior deacons.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Cervantes and Mazo, who have been appointed senior and junior deacons of this lodge. This certificate vouches for the proficiency of the senior deacon.
Brothers Cervantes and Mazo, you have been appointed deacons of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewels of your office. Those jewels indicate that it is your province to attend upon the master and wardens and act as their proxies in the active duties of this lodge. It will be your especial duty, Brother Senior Deacon, to carry orders from the worshipful master in the east to the senior warden in the west and elsewhere about the lodge as required. Attend to all alarms at the door of the preparation room. Receive and conduct candidates. Introduce and accommodate visiting brethren. You, Brother Junior Deacon, to carry messages from the senior warden in the west to the junior in the south and elsewhere about the lodge as required. Attend to all alarms at the door and see the lodge duly tiled. Those rods, my brothers, distinctive of your office, will now be entrusted to your care. And now, believing from your past deportment in the lodge that your duties will be discharged with ability and zeal, I dismiss you to your respective places. For the Master of Ceremonies, you will present the chaplain.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation worshipful Laage, who has been appointed chaplain of this lodge.
Worshipful brother, that holy book which adorns our sacred altar is the great light in Masonry and forever sheds its benignant rays upon every lawful assemblage of free and accepted Masons. Teach us from its life-giving precepts. Invoke upon our labors the blessing of that divine being whose infinite goodness it so fully reveals and unfolds to us, and guide us by its lessons of wisdom and truth. And you will have faithfully fulfilled your important trust. It is your duty to perform those solemn services which we should constantly render to our great Creator, and reverently to allure to brighter worlds and lead the way. And thus, by elevating our thoughts, strengthening our virtues, and purifying our minds, prepare us for admission into the society of the blessed in the realms of life and light eternal. It is fitting that an emblem of the sacred volume should be the jewel of your office, and with it, you will now be invested. You will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the Secretary-elect.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation worshipful Echevarria, who has been elected secretary of this lodge.
Worshipful Echevarria, you have been elected secretary of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your office. I am persuaded that in your hands, the pens will make an enduring record, not only to your praise, but also to the welfare of this lodge. It is your duty to observe the will and pleasure of the worshipful master, keep a faithful record of all things proper to be written, transmit a copy of the same to the Grand Lodge when required, receive all monies from the brethren, pay the same to the treasurer, and take his receipt therefore. You will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the treasurer-elect.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation worshipful Babaian, who has been elected treasurer of this lodge.
Worshipful Babaian, you have been elected treasurer of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your office. The keys have a twofold significance. They are instruments to bind as well as to make loose, to make fast as well as to open. They will never, I am confident, be used by you in any other manner than that which the Constitution, laws, and regulations of the lodge shall direct. You are to receive all money from the secretary, keep a just and accurate account thereof, and pay the same out by order of the worshipful master with the consent of the lodge. You will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the junior warden-elect.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Lupu, who has been elected junior warden of this lodge. This certificate vouches for his proficiency.
Brother Lupu, you have been elected junior warden of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your station. The plum, my brother, admonishes us to walk uprightly in our several stations, to hold the scales of justice and equal poise, to observe the just medium between intemperance and pleasure, and to make our passions and prejudices coincide with the line of our duty. To you is committed the superintendence of the craft during the hours of refreshment. It is necessary, therefore, that you should practice moderation and discretion in the indulgences of your own inclinations, and that you carefully observe that the means of refreshment are not converted to improper or excessive use. Your regular and punctual attendance is particularly requested, and I have no doubt that you will faithfully execute the duty which you owe to your present appointment. Look well to the south. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the senior warden-elect.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Matossian, who has been elected senior warden of this lodge. He is of good morals, true and trusty, and possesses the love and confidence of his brethren. This certificate vouches for his proficiency.
Brother Matossian, you have been elected senior warden of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your station. The level, my brother, demonstrates that we are descended from the same stock, that we partake of the same nature and share the same hope, and that although distinctions among men are necessary to preserve subordination, yet no eminence of station should make us forget that we are brethren. For he who is placed on the lowest spoke of fortune's wheel may be entitled to our regard, because a time will come, and the wisest know not how soon, when all distinctions, save that of goodness, shall cease, and death, the mighty leveler of human greatness, reduce us to the same state. Your regular attendance on our stated meetings is essential. In the absence of the master, you are to govern the lodge. In his presence, you are to assist him in the government of it. I firmly rely on your knowledge of Masonry and attachment to the lodge for the faithful discharge of the duties of this important trust. Look well to the west. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will now present the brother who has been elected to discharge the important duties of master of this lodge.
Most worshipful sir, I take pleasure in presenting to you Brother Khalafyan, who has been duly elected to serve as master of this lodge.
Is he zealous in his regard for the interests of our order? And is he duly qualified to discharge the special duties of the master's chair?
It is well known that he is all this, most worshipful sir. This certificate vouching for his proficiency is evidence that he is well skilled in our ancient craft. I find him to be of good morals, true and trusty, and as he is a lover of the fraternity, I doubt not that he will discharge his duties with fidelity and with honor.
Worshipful sir, the brethren of this lodge, reposing confidence in your integrity, in your zealous regard for the interests of Masonry, and in your ability to discharge the duties of the master's chair, have chosen you to occupy that honorable position for the ensuing year. Are you willing to accept this important trust?
I am.
Then, my brother, I shall most cheerfully proceed to install you in the dignified and honorable position to which the suffrage of your brethren have called you, not doubting that the dignity of the Oriental chair will be well preserved in your keeping, and that the interest and welfare of this lodge may be safely confided to your charge. Before commencing your investiture, however, it is necessary that you should signify your assent to those ancient charges and regulations which point out the duties of a master of a lodge, and which on no account are ever to be neglected or departed from. They are as follows. You agree to be a good man and true, and strictly to obey the moral law. You agree to be a peaceable citizen, and cheerfully to conform to the laws of the country in which you reside. You promise not to be concerned in plots and conspiracies against government, but patiently to submit to the decision of the Supreme Legislature. You agree to pay a proper respect to the civil magistrate, to work diligently, live credibly, and act honorably by all men. You agree to hold in veneration the original rulers and patrons of the Order of Masonry, and their regular successors, supreme and subordinate, according to their stations, and to submit to the awards and resolutions of your brethren when convened, in every case consistent with the constitutions of the order. You agree to avoid private piques and quarrels, and to guard against intemperance and excess. You are to be cautious in carriage and behavior, courteous to your brethren, and faithful to your lodge. You promise to respect genuine brethren, and to discountenance impostors and all dissenters from the original plan of Masonry. You agree to promote the general good of society, to cultivate the social virtues, and to propagate the knowledge of the art. You promise to pay homage to the Grand Master for the time being, and to his officers when duly installed, and strictly to conform to every edict of the Grand Lodge or General Assembly of Masons that is not subversive of the principles and groundwork of Masonry. You admit that it is not in the power of any man or body of men to make innovations in the body of Masonry. You promise a regular attendance on the committees and communications of the Grand Lodge on receiving proper notice, and to pay attention to all the duties of Masonry on convenient occasions. You admit that no new lodge should be formed without permission of the Grand Lodge, and that no countenance should be given to any irregular lodge or to any person clandestinely initiated therein, being contrary to the ancient charges of the order. You admit that no person can be regularly made a Mason in or admitted a member of any regular lodge without previous notice and inquiry into his character. You agree that no visitors shall be received into your lodge without due examination and producing proper vouchers of their having been initiated in a regular lodge. These are among the ancient charges and regulations of free and accepted Masons, and to these your assent must be freely given. Do you submit to these charges and promise to support these regulations as masters have done in all ages before you?
I do.
Then, my brother, in consequence of this assurance, and with full confidence in your capacity and zeal, I will now install you as Master of Burbank Lodge number 406, Brother Master of Ceremonies. You will invest him with the jewel of his station. The square, my brother, is an emblem of morality, and as it is the especial badge of the Master's office, it should constantly remind you that not only by precept, but by example, you should promote good morals among the brethren, and thus endeavor to avert the shadow of any scandal or reproach against the fraternity. Your former life has given evidence that this jewel will not be an unmeaning symbol in your hands, and I solemnly charge you to take good care that its luster be not dimmed through any act of yours. I now present to you the Book of Holy Writings. It is the great light in Masonry, and should ever be the great law of the brotherhood. It will guide you to all truth. It will direct you to eternal happiness, and an attentive regard to the divine precepts it contains will ensure you success in the fulfillment of the duties you are now about to assume. The working tools of our craft will next be presented to you, that as the master workman, you may instruct the craftsmen in the various duties and virtues which they have been selected to illustrate. The square teaches us well to regulate our every action and to let our conduct be governed by the principles of morality and virtue. The compass teaches us to limit our desires in every station and never to suffer our passions or our prejudices to become the masters of our judgment. The rule directs the undeviating discharge of all our duties, that we should press forward in the straight path of right and truth, without inclining to the one hand or the other, in all our doings, having eternity in view. The plum is an emblem of moral rectitude. It teaches us to avoid all dissimulation and to pursue that honest and upright course in life, which will tend to our elevation in the higher realms of immortality. There are still other important things which you will receive in charge. This book of constitutions, you are expected diligently to search, and from time to time to cause its contents to be read in your lodge, that none may remain ignorant of the precepts it enjoins or of the ordinances which it promulgates. This book contains the bylaws of your lodge, which it will be your especial duty to see carefully and punctually executed. And this is the charter, under the authority of which your lodge is held, and which you are carefully to preserve and duly transmit to your successor in the master's chair. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will conduct the master to his station in the east. Worshipful Master, I congratulate you on your ascension to this time-honored seat. The duties incumbent upon you in your exalted station are fraught with grave responsibilities. Remember that the honor, reputation, and usefulness of your lodge will materially depend upon the skill and assiduity with which you manage its concerns, and that the happiness of its members will be generally promoted in proportion to the watchful care with which you cherish the genuine principles of our institution. For a pattern of imitation, consider the great luminary of nature, which, rising in the east, regularly diffuses light and luster to all within its circle. In like manner, it is your province to spread and communicate light and instruction to the brethren of your lodge. Forcibly impress upon them the dignity and high importance of Masonry, and seriously admonish them never to disgrace it. Charge them to practice out of the lodge those duties which they have been taught in it, and by amiable, discreet, and virtuous conduct to convince mankind of the goodness of this institution, so that when a person is said to be a member of it, the world may know that he is one to whom the burdened heart may pour out its sorrows, one to whom distress may prefer its suit, one whose hand is guided by justice, and whose heart is expanded by benevolence. In short, by a diligent observance of the bylaws of your lodge, the constitutions of Masonry, and above all, the Holy Scriptures, which are given as the rule and guide of your faith, you will be enabled to acquit yourself with the highest honors here and lay up a crown of rejoicing, which shall continue until time shall be no more. Brothers Senior and Junior Warden, you are too well acquainted with the principles of Masonry to warrant any distrust that you will be found wanting in the discharge of your respective duties. Suffice it to say that what you have seen praiseworthy in others, you should carefully imitate, and what in them may have appeared defective, you should yourselves avoid. You should be examples of discretion and propriety, for it is only by a due regard for our laws and regulations, as shown in your conduct, that you can expect obedience to them from others. You are assiduously to assist the master in the discharge of his trust, diffusing light and imparting knowledge to all whom he shall place under your care. In absence of the master, you will succeed to higher duties. Your acquirements must, therefore, be such as will ensure proper instruction to the craft. From the spirit which you have hitherto evinced, I entertain no doubt that your future conduct will be such as will merit the applause of your brethren and the testimony of a good conscience. Brethren of Burbank Lodge number 406, please rise. My brethren, such is the nature of our Constitution, that as some must of necessity rule and teach, so must others, of course, learn to submit and obey. Humility in both is an essential duty. The officers who have been chosen to govern your lodge are sufficiently conversant with the rules of propriety and the laws of the institution to avoid exceeding the power with which they have been entrusted. And you are of too generous a disposition to envy their preferment. I therefore trust that you will have but one aim, to please one another and unite in the grand design of promoting happiness. Finally, my brethren, as this association has been formed and perfected in so much unanimity and concord, so may it long continue. May you long enjoy every satisfaction and delight which friendship can afford. May kindness and brotherly affection distinguish your conduct as men and as Masons. Within your peaceful walls, may your children's children celebrate with joy and gratitude the annual recurrence of this auspicious solemnity. And may the tenets of our profession be transmitted through this lodge, pure and unimpaired, from generation to generation. Worshipful Master, it now remains for me to present to you the gavel. If I can get it into focus, there we go. The emblem of power. In the hands of the master, it may be made the instrument of great good or of greater evil. With it, the master governs his lodge, and the welfare and prosperity of your lodge, in a great measure, depends upon its judicious use. In your hands, I am confident it will be wielded for the best interests of your brethren. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will now make proclamation.
By order of the most worshipful Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of the state of California, I now proclaim the offices of Burbank Lodge number 406 to be duly installed.
All the brethren will, under the direction of the Master of Ceremonies, salute the worshipful Master by the battery of 3 times 3.
Together, brethren.
Worshipful Master, behold your brethren. Brethren, behold your master.
Thank you, most worshipful. Can you hear me okay?
We can, don't forget the hat.
Oh. Thank you. Dear guests, brethren, family, friends, ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled to be here and feel blessed that you are all present at this memorable day. I want to thank my installing team for performing this memorable ceremony. Thank you, most worshipful Weiss, for agreeing to be part of this special night. Thank you, worshipful Jhairo Echevarria, for acting as the master of ceremony, for your support and always being there for me. Thank you, worshipful Chris Barnes, for blessing tonight's ceremony and as always supporting me in my Masonic career. Worshipful Glass, 2020 was a difficult year for everyone. I want to congratulate you on completing your year and leading the lodge through these rough and turbulent times. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. I would like to introduce my family now before I continue. Can you get them on the screen, please? Worshipful Sean, can you get them? Okay. I want to thank my wife, Annabelle, for always standing next to me and supporting me in my journey in Masonry. I want to thank my son, William, who is 13, and Daniel, who is 8, for giving me love and joy and for their compassion. I want to thank my father, Warden, and my mother, Stella, for raising me and instilling in me the core values that make me who I am. I want to thank my younger brother, Arshak, who always acts as my older brother by standing behind me and always supporting me. Additionally, his wife, Eileen, for her ongoing positive attitude and care. And lastly, I want to thank my mother-in-law and her sister who have been continuously supportive in our lives. Thank you, guys. I want to thank the Supreme Architect of the universe for giving me the strength, courage, and perseverance in all of my life endeavors. 6 years ago, I was in a dark space. I was searching for light. I was searching to be a better man. I wanted to know who I am and improve my moral and spiritual outlook. God guided me to look towards Burbank Masonic Lodge and knock on its doors, where you, brethren of Burbank, welcome me with kind and loving hands. Thank you for believing me and entrusting me to sit at the east and lead with you our lodge to its next chapter. In return, I'm going to ask you just one thing. Do not only be a Mason in a lodge room. Again, I'm going to repeat, do not only be a Mason in a lodge room. Practice Masonry outside of the lodge, in your home, with your friends, neighbors, and everyone in your community. The world will be a better place if most of us practice what we have learned in the lodge room outside in the real world. All of us can agree that the world is going through a change, and we are all attempting to cope with it. This breakdown that we are all experiencing is going to bring us a huge breakthrough. It is going to bring us all together. Do not give up hope. Be just, be faithful, and be true. And before I finish, I wanted to recite a poem which I came across recently, and which has inspired me a great deal. The poem is by Max Ehrmann, called Desiderato. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even to the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. For always there will be a greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love. For in the face of aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsels of years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaging. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have the right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt that the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul, with all its shame, drudgery, and broken dreams. It is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. Thank you. I will now present the past masters of Burbank Lodge 406. Worshipful Gary Glass, Worshipful Jesus Valdivizio, Worshipful Jim Lage, Worshipful Thomas Kuros, Worshipful Peter Babaian, Worshipful Eric Adams, Worshipful Bill Campbell, Worshipful Al Moen, Worshipful Jay Yates, Worshipful Chris Barnes, Worshipful Thomas Oldham, Worshipful Andrew De Caro, Worshipful Paul Bazarkanian, Worshipful Richard Bisetti, Worshipful Jock Carlson, Worshipful Ken Barnes, Worshipful Steve Harris, Worshipful Richard French, Worshipful Norm Furman, Worshipful Scott Manukian, Worshipful Simon McRoy, Worshipful Arthur Badeau, Worshipful Gunny Hernandez, Worshipful Armin Shuloff, Worshipful Charles Pruitt, Worshipful Stephen Appleby, Worshipful Mark Carnaberry, Worshipful John Brennan, Worshipful Timothy Holm, Worshipful Jason Cunningham, Worshipful Gregory Bragg, Worshipful Edward Avetisian, Worshipful William Cunningham, Worshipful Ronald Cooper, Worshipful William Ferris, Worshipful Scott Nave, Worshipful William Jennings, Worshipful Albert Ivy, and Worshipful William Ull. Will all Burbank Lodge past masters who are present please raise your hands for recognition. Thank you all for serving the Lodge and for all of your efforts. Your dedication to our Lodge is very much appreciated. Thank you. Now present the community leaders who are joining us tonight. Mayor Bob Frutos and his wife Laura. Thank you, Mayor Frutos, for your leadership and your ongoing support to the Burbank Masonic Lodge. Thank you, guys. I will now present the youth order leaders. Please raise your hand to be recognized as a group. Thank you for your efforts and for your leadership. I will now present the officers of concongruent and appended bodies. Again, please raise your hand to be recognized as a group. Again, thank you for your efforts and your leadership. I will now present the masters and the master-elects of other lodges. Please raise your hand to be recognized as a group. Thank you for your efforts and for your leadership. I will now present the Golden Veteran Award recipients. Please raise your hand to be recognized as a group. Again, thank you for all your efforts. I will now present the Hiram Award recipients. Again, please raise your hand to be recognized as a group. Brethren, thank you for your leadership in our lodges. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. And because of your efforts, our lodges are standing strong. Thank you. I will now present the Grand Masters Youth Support Award recipients. Again, if there's any people present, raise your hand for group recognition. Thank you for your leadership. I will now present the past masters of other lodges. Please raise your hand to be recognized as a group. And thank you for all that you have done for your lodges. Thank you. I will now pass the microphone to our worshipful Champagne or worshipful Almoan to continue the presentation or the introductions. Sorry.
I got it, Worshipful. Thank you very much. There's a little trick I learned from Worshipful Batoli, who's an inspector in Division 6. If you look down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see reactions. If you click on it, there's a thumbs up. If I introduce you, please hit your thumbs up icon. Then when I'm done with all the introductions, everyone can just hit the applause, which is right next to the thumbs up, and that'll be the applause that everybody can give. So to make sure you're all awake and not asleep, can I ask everyone to hit the applause like I just did? Okay, there we go. We got everybody. Okay, good. All right. So let me start with the committeemen. We have Worshipful Jhairo Echevarriaria, who's on youth orders. Did I miss anyone? Okay, then let's give them an applause. Okay. We have a few inspectors with us present. Hold your applause until I get them introduced. From Sunland, a past master of Burbank Lodge, number 406, an inspector at large of Division 7, the Worshipful Jeff Yates and his wife Rita. From Burbank, a past master of Old West Lodge, number 813, the inspector of Division 737, the Worshipful Stefan Demonis and his wife Sherry. There are a few other inspectors present but they're also Grand Lodge officers, so I'm going to introduce them with that group. Did I miss any inspectors? All right, then finally, I'm from Silmar, a past master of Liberal Arts Lodge number 677, and the inspector of District 725, of which Burbank Lodge is a member. If we could have everyone applaud now, that would be great. Yeah, hit your button, guys. All right. Past Grand Lodge officers. We have a couple. It's my pleasure to introduce Worshipful Vern Dandridge, past Assistant Grand Lecturer. And also, it's my pleasure to introduce the very Worshipful Jack Rose, past Grand Lecturer. Let's give them an applause. Okay, now the Grand Lodge officers. Please hold your applause. We have a few. From Sebastopol, a member of Oakland Durant Rock Ridge Lodge number 188, the Assistant Grand Organist, the Worshipful Jonathan S. Davis and his wife Marnie, excuse me. From Elk Grove, a past master of Elk Grove Lodge number 173, the Junior Grand Steward, the Worshipful Thomas L. Payne Jr. From Lake Forest, a past master of San Fernando Lodge number 343, the Grand Standard Bearer, and I forget, I think you're 706, the inspector of 706, the Worshipful Alberto L. Casanova Jr. and his wife Joanne. From Glendora, a past master of San Marino Lodge number 408, the Grand Standard Bearer and inspector of District 717, the Worshipful Paul B. Bazarkanian and his wife Salpi. From Vista, a past master of Irvine Valley Lodge number 617, the Grand Marshal, the Worshipful Mark E. Pressey and his wife Beth. From Elk Grove, a past master of Morningstar Lodge number 19, the Assistant Grand Lecturer of Division 4, the Worshipful Jairo J. Gomez Jr. and his wife Stacy. From Fullerton, a past master of Metropolitan Lodge number 352, the Assistant Grand Lecturer of Division 6, the Worshipful Charles P. Cross and his wife Sandra. From Burbank, I think you guys all know this guy, a past master of Burbank Lodge number 406, the Assistant Grand Lecturer of Division 7, the Worshipful Elvin D. Moen and his wife Lori. From La Mesa, a past master of San Diego Lodge number 35, the Assistant Grand Lecturer of Division 9, the Worshipful Don H. Cargo III. From Valley Springs, a past master of Riverside Lodge number 635, the Grand Lecturer, the Very Worshipful Ricky L. Lawler and his wife Patty. From Aliso Viejo, a past master of Irvine Valley Lodge number 671, the Grand Treasurer, the Very Worshipful Arthur L. Salazar Jr. and his wife Laura. From Nevada City, a past master of San Diego Lodge number 35, the Senior Grand Warden, the Right Worshipful Randall L. Brill and his wife Susan. From Sonoma, a past master of Mosaic Lodge number 218, the Deputy Grand Master, the Right Worshipful Jeffrey M. Wilkins and his wife Liz. Our Grand Master comes from Newberry Park, a past master of Conejo Valley Lodge number 817, and it is my honor to introduce his wife, Barbara. Most Worshipful Weiss will be introduced later in this program. Let's give them all an applause. Okay. I will now turn the everything back over to you, Worshipful Master.
Worshipful Moen,
Yes, Worshipful.
I think it's your cue now.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. It's my pleasure always to be able to present the Grand Master. And before I do that, I'm going to read his shortened bio. He, of course, is a very accomplished man. So he had a 3-page bio, which he was gracious enough to synopsize so that the AGLs would be able to get through it in a reasonable amount of time. And so it's my honor to be able to read his bio. Arthur H. Weiss. Most Worshipful Brother Arthur Weiss was raised a Master Mason in Conejo Valley, Lodge number 807 in Thousand Oaks on January 28, 1986. He served as Master of the Lodge in 1991 and in 2003, and was presented the Hiram Award in 1997 for his distinguished service to the Lodge. Worshipful Weiss, most Worshipful Weiss, served the Grand Lodge as an inspector, as Grand Marshal, and as Grand Chaplain. He has served on all 5 constitutional boards, including 12 years on the California Masonic Foundation. In addition, Worshipful Brother Weiss is active in other Masonic bodies, including the Los Angeles Scottish Rite Bodies, Allied Masonic Degrees, Knight Masons, the Red Cross of Constantine, and the Rosicrucians. He is a 32nd degree KCCH in the Los Angeles Scottish Rite. He is a member of the Order of Eastern Star and served as Worthy Grand Patron of the Grand Chapter of California. Worshipful Brother Weiss received his Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering in 1973 from Purdue University. He enjoyed a 42-year career in aerospace and defense with Rocketdyne. He was Executive Director of Missile Defense and Advanced Programs prior to his retirement in 2015. He continues to consult and started an executive consulting firm. Art and his wife Barbara live in Newbury Park and they have 1 married daughter. Brethren, ladies and guests, it is my honor to present the 155th Grand Master of Masons in the state of California, Most Worshipful Arthur H. Weiss.
There we go. Thank you, Worshipful. Worshipful Khalafyan, the Honorable Mayor of Burbank, Grand Lodge officers, members of Burbank Lodge, brethren and friends. It has truly been an honor to install the officers of Burbank Lodge into their respective offices this evening. I congratulate each and every one of you. I wish you all an outstanding year and nothing but success as you keep Masonry moving forward in the Eastern San Fernando Valley. Worshipful Khalafyan, it was certainly a pleasure to install you as Master this evening.
Thank you.
Although I would have loved to do so in person and in your beautiful lodge room. Under your leadership, I expect that Burbank will continue its role as a leadership lodge in your community. Worshipful Echevarria, it was an honor to work with you as Master of Ceremonies. You have been a hard-working advocate for this lodge and our fraternity's philanthropic efforts. It has been a pleasure to get to know you over the past several years. And Worshipful Christopher, a pleasure to work with you as installing chaplain. Worshipful Al, Assistant Grand Lecturer of Division 7, what can I say? Thank you for formally introducing me in your home lodge this time. And Grand Lodge officers, thank you again for being here this evening and supporting this wonderful lodge. Brethren, we have entered upon a new year, and as our new master mentioned earlier, our circumstances coming into the year have not changed. The COVID virus continues to plague our communities, and our state continues to keep us locked down and isolated. Fortunately, vaccines are now being distributed, and it's only a matter of time before we all have the opportunity to be inoculated. I look forward to the time that our government will begin to ease restrictions on social gatherings to make sure we are ready for that day when I am able to authorize our reopening. I'm developing the steps and guidelines necessary to conduct in-person meetings and events as we move forward. This plan will be reviewed by the executive committee later this month. Also, to acknowledge the tremendous work and sacrifice of many of those who are on the front lines of this pandemic, I proclaimed January as Support Our First Responders Month. Our police, our firefighters, emergency medical technicians, and paramedics all take one of the most challenging of obligations: to run towards danger, not away from it. We recognize that our communities rely on the bravery, sacrifice, and service of our first responders to shield us from the perils of an often dangerous world. For that, we owe them all a debt of gratitude. This month, I encourage our lodges to thank and honor the efforts of these heroes through donations, volunteerism, or lodge recognition. But it's important that we recognize and acknowledge these people on whom we all rely. It's also important that society sees our charitable activities and becomes more aware of our active involvement in our communities. This is a priority for me and one of several I have for this year. All of them are for the purpose of advancing our new vision, the world in harmony. Our effort to help the world achieve harmony through Masonic principles by the year 2050, our bicentennial. Our 2025 fraternity plan outlines those actions that we will take over the next 5 years to advance that vision. Now, for the true success of our vision, we must achieve 3 goals, or pillars as we know they're called, during the 5 years of the plan. The pillars are true friendship, diversity and harmony, and positive awareness. We want these 3 pillars to become true and universal at the lodge level, for the communities in which our lodges reside, and for our state as a whole. True friendship is that fundamental attribute that brings Masons together in brotherhood, even when we have never met. It is the unique characteristic of the fraternity, and it's hard for us to define in words, yet we must find ways to demonstrate to the world what it is and what it can mean as we begin to help shape the world in harmony. We must reevaluate our approach to diversity and whether we are doing enough to set a standard that society will want to embrace. Are we truly practicing the values we espouse? Are we doing enough to bring people of different cultures and traditions together? There is much that we can do as Masons to bring together diverse groups who share our values and our world perspective. Our doing so can then be a model for our communities as they too work to embrace the concept of harmony. We also must increase the positive awareness of Masonry in our society. We can set standards of true friendship. We provide personal growth for those from all walks of life. And we commit ourselves to philanthropy and community service, just as this lodge continues to demonstrate. But if the public is unaware of our efforts, then they will never see our good works as an example worthy of emulation. Creating positive awareness of our contributions will require a brand new approach to spreading the word throughout society of the benefits of Masonry. While we at the Grand Lodge level can finish working out the details of the approach, it will take a coordinated effort of all the lodges in California to produce the meaningful impact necessary to allow us to influence the state as a whole towards harmony. I see Burbank Lodge helping to play an important role in this thrust. You continue to support our fraternity's various philanthropic endeavors. You actively support the Glendale, Pasadena, Burbank Public Schools Advisory Council. You are now junior past master, Worshipful Gary Glass, is a leader in our Youth Orders Committee. You are an active lodge. As we address the challenges of today, I ask you to draw upon that strong heritage. You are in a good position to help lead Masonry into a new era of influence and impact. The other area in which the help of our lodges is essential is my desire to see us increase Masonic family unity. To set the best possible example of diversity and harmony, we must first integrate all aspects of our Masonic family and reach across existing divides to other Masonic groups that share our principles and our dedication. Improved communication between our various Masonic family bodies and closer relationships with independent, coexisting Masonic groups will demonstrate to the outside world our benefit to society. The division-wide, all Masonic body social events planned later this year will further this goal and show ourselves that our similarities are far greater than our differences. I expect Burbank Lodge to play a role in improving Masonic family unity in Southern California. So tonight, I challenge you, the officers and the brethren of Burbank Lodge, to define what part you will play in our 2025 plan and making it a reality, and in promoting Masonic family unity in your area. Revise your strategic plan and assure that it's aligned to the fraternity's plan. Consider how you can bring the bonds of true friendship to an even deeper level with your members. Find ways to extend the benefits of Masonry to everyone and create an inclusive, harmonious environment. Raise the bar of your lodge's community engagement and philanthropy even further to grow the positive awareness of Freemasonry in your communities. Reach out to all the Masonic bodies that meet in your area and discuss how you can come together to advance the principles of Freemasonry. Explore the possibilities of what each of you individually and all of you collectively as a lodge can do to advance in these areas. And you will carry Burbank Lodge farther and higher than you ever previously imagined. Bravely embrace the next evolution, and you will find that fortune does favor the brave. Thank you, Worshipful, and thank you, brethren.
Thank you, Most Worshipful. Now, before we get on the presentations, I just wanted to say something. This is a very tough ceremony to do via Zoom, and I missed a lot of people. And I just wanted to acknowledge Council Member Nick Schultz, Burbank Council Member, who was here. I did miss him, and I apologize if I have missed any other guests or brethren or any worshippers in this in their presence. So again, I apologize for that. We will continue with our presentations. I understand there's a presentation for our outgoing master.
Yes, Worshipful. I take great honor in presenting a couple tokens of appreciation to Worshipful Gary Glass on behalf of the Lodge. First and foremost, we have presented him with the Past Master's apron. Hope he was happy in that selection. He has a Past Master's gold card, Past Master's pin, certificate of Past Master certificate from Grand Lodge, and your Past Master's card from Grand Lodge also. And last but not least, a certificate from the city of Burbank, which we truly appreciate that they were so generous in presenting to our Past Master. Thank you, Worshipful Gary, for all you've done and the hard work that you put forward in this year, being such a difficult situation and a first-time experience for us all. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve, and to my brothers, thank you for all the assistance. It was just thanks. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Next, I wanted to acknowledge Brother Rick, our outgoing secretary. I wanted to thank you for your service as the secretary of the lodge for the past 3 years. And I want you to know that your efforts and all your work is appreciated. Also, thank you for willing to step down and for stepping into the line as a senior deacon. And I can't wait to perform rituals with you. I know we can do great things. Thank you. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Worshipful. Really appreciate it. It's been an honor.
Next, I wanted to ask Worshipful Champagne if he has any presentations.
Yes, I do, Worshipful. It's the responsibility of the inspector to every year appoint an officer's coach to assist him in teaching the ritual to the lodge. Excuse me. For the past few years, Worshipful Babaian has been your officer's coach, and he agreed to continue again this year. So I already sent him his card, and I hereby virtually appoint him as your officer's coach.
Thank you. Thank you, Worshipful Babaian. Okay, next, I wanted to do a small presentation for Ms. Weiss. Ms. Weiss, as a small token of our appreciation, please enjoy the bouquet of flowers that we have delivered to your residence. We appreciate you being present here and for all your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was going to bring them in to show you, but it's too big and I can't even lift it. It's huge and it's just beautiful. Thank you so much. I'll really enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, I wanted to present flowers to my wife. Are you? Yeah, so again, Annabelle, thank you for always being next to me and supporting me. And enjoy the flowers from our lodge, from our brothers.
Thank you very much. They're very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last presentation, oh no, Worshipful Klaus.
Yeah, I just had a little something as a thank you to the brethren for allowing me to serve. Something that I'd like to present to you, Armin, is a flag of the United States of America that is flown over the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. And it's certified that it was flown, and the certification being signed by the acting architect of the Capitol, Thomas J. Carroll III. So thank you, brethren. All the best to you and your officer corps for 2021 Masonic year. Thanks again.
Thank you, Worshipful. Thank you. And then the last presentation I wanted to make is to our most worshipful Art Weiss. Again, we wanted to thank you for being here tonight and for performing this ceremony. We deeply appreciate your support. I look forward to having many more opportunities to interact with you and build a friendship. And as a small token of our appreciation, please accept the check that we have sent to you and to the foundation. I'm positive that these funds will make a large difference in many children in our community. So thank you, Worshipful.
Well, thank you, Worshipful. I did get the card and I'm opening it, and outstanding, generous. Thank you, Worshipful and brethren of Burbank Lodge, for this kind contribution to the foundation, and specifically in this case, raising a reader. Raising a reader, of course, I know is important to you gentlemen and your Public Schools Advisory Council, and I appreciate all the fundraising you have done in past years to support this wonderful program. This certainly will be added to that and continue our ability to expand Raising a Reader into more and more classrooms. So thank you, brethren in Burbank, and thank you, Worshipful. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. And So this concludes our ceremony. If there's any other remarks, I think we will we'll gavel. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Worshipful. It was a wonderful ceremony. You guys were really prepared, and I love your backgrounds, your virtual backgrounds. Those are really great. Of course, I like the colors too. But it was a pleasure to be with you this evening. And I meant what I said about I really wish we could have done this in your lodge building, because your lodge room is absolutely beautiful, and one that makes some people envious that you have such a beautiful, beautiful room. As you go forward, brethren, we have much work to do as soon as we can get back together. I'm hoping that can be before the start of the summer. At least that's my planning at the moment. And hopefully the government will cooperate. So, Grand Lodge officers, thank you for being with us. Right Worshipful Matroka, thank you specifically for being here this evening. I noticed you were there, so I wanted to make sure you know that I saw you.
Thanks, most. I appreciate you confirming that.
And the rest of the officers, thank you, not only for this evening, but being there this morning as well. You always have supported every one of these things, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you, Grand Lodge officers. Again, Worshipful, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. What are we doing? Cut to commercial, Armen. Cut to commercial.
there's no. Huh? Oh, sorry. I thought I left.
Thank you, most worshipful. Thank you, everybody.
Our pleasure.
Worshipful Armin, congratulations, and all your officers as well. I'd like to give a shout out to Worshipful Barnes. Last century, he introduced me to festive boards and table lodges, and he has spawned in our lodge about 4 or 5 since then. And I still have probably about 3/4 of the boxes of firing glasses that he sold me after his event in the early 90s.
Well, that was kind of special. Thank you very
That
much.
sounds, Brother Grand Marshal, like
Fire.
Vivat.
No, it's Dairy Dude.
Yes, Vivat. Well, I hope you all pay attention to the next edition of the Freemason magazine. Let's just say it's about toasting, among other things, but the issue is going to be around some of our drinking ceremonies. So
I think we're all
should
ready.
be interesting.
I'm ready.
You can always start now. We're done.
I'm drinking.
Oh, now you tell me.
Here's to you, worshipful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Paul,
I really appreciate everybody being here. Thank you.
Congratulations, Armin. I have to get used to calling you Worshipful Armin.
I'm good. Just call me Armin.
Congratulations, Armen.
Thank you, Brother Armin. Thank you.
All right, Worshipful. I'm going to take my leave. So thank you again and have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I am most worshipful.
Thank you, most worshipful.
Night.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, Jhairo, congratulations. You're definitely my top 5 of Jhairos out there. So
Have a great year.
Jhairo.
Are all Jhairos tall?
pretty much. But he's a much better looking version.
All 5 of them, huh? All 5 of them. I gotta run. I'll see you guys later. Take care.
Worshipful Armen, congratulations to you and your officers.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Have a good night.
Worshipful Armen, congratulations to you
Thank you.
and all your officers.
Thank you for
Congratulations,
watching this.
Armin. Worshipful Armin, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations, Worshipful. I'm taking my leave now, and congratulations to your new officers.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for being here.
Bye, all. See you.
Okay. Congratulations, Armin, for all you've done. That was a fantastic speech, too.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Worshipful
Thanks for being
Armin,
here.
Worshipful Armin, I'd like to congratulate you, and you're a very nice man, and I know it's going to be a marvelous year. Congratulations.
Thank you, Worshipful. Thank you very much.
Worshipful Glass, congratulations to you as well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Worshipful.
I'll see you all at the next meeting.
Yeah, see you at the next meeting. Thank you.
Bye-bye. God bless you.
Congratulations, Worshipful Armin.
Armen, congratulations. And are we closing the lodge now?
Yes, we're gonna wait until, I guess most people leave and then we'll close.
Okay.
Thank you.
Worshipful Armin and Worshipful Gary, I too add my congratulations for a great year that's passed and a great year that I expect coming forward. I wish each and all your officers an exciting time on this journey, and I look forward to working with everyone. Be well.
Thank you, Worshipful Earth.